Welcome to Shadow Psychology Coded. You walk through life with a name, a face, a history, and a deep, unshakable conviction that you know who you are. But what if this you is a phantom, a carefully constructed puppet whose strings are pulled by forces you never consented to? What if the person you call I is not the product of your own choices, your own desires, your own will, but rather a collection of inherited commands, social expectations, and psychological implants? This is the great lie of the modern self, the grand deception that keeps you trapped in a life of quiet desperation, performing a role written by someone else. Today, we begin the most dangerous and liberating project of your existence, the systematic dismantling of the false self, the should self, and the reclamation of the sovereign I that lies buried beneath its ruins. This is not self-improvement. This is self-creation. And our guide through this shadowy terrain is the philosopher who saw this truth with terrifying clarity, Friedrich Nietzsche. The should self is the psychological entity that operates on a single relentless frequency, the frequency of obligation. Its voice is the internal whisper that says, you should be more successful. You should be nicer. You should want a family. You should be more spiritual. You should fit in. You should stand out. It is a chorus of conflicting demands, a cacophony of external expectations that you have mistaken for your own inner voice. This should self is not you. It is a parasite, a ghost in your machine, a colonial power that has occupied your psyche and convinced you that its agenda is your identity. To understand how this colonization occurred, we must look at the mechanisms of implantation. The should self is installed through a slow, insidious process that begins the moment you are born. The first architects are your parents. With the best of intentions, they imprint upon you their own fears, their own unfulfilled ambitions, their own worldview. Be careful. Don't make a scene. Make us proud. These are not mere suggestions. They are the first layers of code being written onto the blank slate of your consciousness. Then comes the educational system, a factory designed not to cultivate unique individuals, but to produce standardized, compliant citizens. You are taught what to think, not how to think. You are rewarded for conformity and punished for deviation. You learn to seek the approval of authority figures, to value grades over genuine understanding, to sit still and follow instructions. The should self grows stronger, its voice now amplified by teachers, curricula, and the relentless pressure of peers. Then, the cultural and religious institutions add their weight. You are given a moral map, a set of pre-packaged values about what is good and evil, right and wrong, sacred and profane. You are told what to believe, how to worship, what to desire in life. The should self absorbs these commandments, turning them into non-negotiable pillars of your identity. Finally, the media and advertising industries complete the process. They sell you images of the ideal life, the perfect body, the luxurious car, the exciting career, the happy family. They create artificial needs and then present themselves as the solution. The should self internalizes these images as goals, mistaking consumer desires for authentic purpose. The result of this lifelong conditioning is a personality that is essentially a mosaic of other people's expectations. You are a patchwork of shoulds, a walking, talking monument to social conformity. Your desires are not your own. They are the desires you were taught to have. Your fears are not your own. They are the fears you were programmed to feel. Your entire life is a performance for an invisible audience, and you are so deeply identified with the actor that you have forgotten there is anyone behind the mask. This is the should self in its full, terrifying glory. It is the prison you carry in your head. Nietzsche was the first philosopher to diagnose this condition with precision. He saw that what we call morality is often just the should self of a particular culture or religion, internalized and mistaken for conscience. He raged against the herd morality that crushes individuality and punishes excellence. His proclamation, "God is dead," was not just a theological statement, it was a declaration of independence from the ultimate should, the divine authority that had dictated human values for centuries. With God dead, Nietzsche declared, humanity was faced with a terrifying freedom. We could no longer hide behind divine commandments. We had to become the creators of our own values, the authors of our own lives. This is the task that lies before you now, to complete the death of God in your own psyche by killing the should self that has taken his place. The first step in this process is to bring the should self into the light. You must become a detective of your own mind, a spy in your own mental territory. You must learn to recognize the voice of the should in its many disguises. It speaks through guilt. I should have done better. It speaks through anxiety. What will they think of me? It speaks through envy. I should have what they have. It speaks through shame. I should be different than I am. Every time you feel these emotions, you are in the presence of the should self. A powerful technique to expose this phantom is what I call the should audit. Take a notebook and draw a line down the center of the page. On the left side, write the script. On the right side, write my truth. Now, begin to interrogate every major area of your life. Start with your career. Under the script, write down all the shoulds you carry about work. I should have a prestigious job. I should be making more money. I should be further along in my career by now. I should be passionate about my work. Be brutally honest. Now look at each should and ask yourself, where did this come from? Did I choose this value, or was it given to me by my parents, my culture, my peers? Is this ambition truly mine, or is it a performance designed to win approval? Then, on the right side, under my truth, write what you genuinely feel, free from judgment. I find prestige meaningless. I value freedom over money. I am exactly where I need to be. My passion lies outside of my job. This is not about justifying laziness. It is about distinguishing your authentic desires from implanted commands. Move to your relationships. I should be married by now. I should want children. I should be more social. I should be in a committed relationship. Question everyone. Whose voice is this? Society's? Your family's? The media's? Then, write your truth. I enjoy my solitude. I do not desire children. I prefer deep connections to large social circles. I am not ready for commitment. This process is profoundly uncomfortable. The should self will fight back with waves of guilt and anxiety. It will tell you that you are being selfish, irresponsible, even immoral. This resistance is a sign that you are on the right track. You are challenging a deeply entrenched power structure in your mind. Next, audit your identity. I should be more confident. I should be more disciplined. I should be happier. I should have my life together. Where did these standards come from? Compare them to your truth. I am confident in areas that matter to me. My discipline is applied to my priorities, not others. I accept my emotional states without judgment. My life is a work in progress, and that is okay. As you conduct this audit, you will begin to see the contours of the prison. You will see that much of your suffering comes not from your circumstances, but from the gap between your authentic self and the should self you are trying to embody. You are tired because you are constantly at war with yourself. You are anxious because you are living a lie. The death of the should self is not a one-time event. It is a continuous practice. It requires vigilant awareness. Throughout your day, you must learn to catch the should in real time. When you hear yourself think, "I should go to that party," pause and ask, "Do I truly want to go, or am I afraid of missing out or disappointing someone?" When you feel pressured to agree with an opinion, ask, "Is this what I believe, or am I seeking approval?" This moment of pause, this space between the impulse and the action, is where your freedom is born. It is the crack in the armor of the should self through which your authentic will can emerge. This process of deconstruction is only the beginning. It is the necessary demolition that clears the ground for new construction. Once you have identified the foreign programs, you can begin the work of deleting them and writing your own code. But first, you must mourn the death of the phantom. You must say goodbye to the person you thought you were, the person you thought you should be. This can be frightening. The should self provides a sense of structure and security, even if that security is a prison. Letting it go means stepping into the unknown, into the terrifying and exhilarating freedom of self-creation. This is the essence of Nietzsche's call to become who you are. It is not about discovering a pre-formed hidden true self. It is about recognizing that there is no fixed self to discover. You are not a noun, you are a verb. You are not a statue to be uncovered. You are a block of marble, and you are the sculptor. Who you are is the ongoing project of your own creation, a project that begins the moment you stop listening to the shoulds and start listening to the deep, silent, powerful will within you. This will is not the ego, not the should self. It is your fundamental drive to grow, to overcome, to expand, to become more than you are. Nietzsche called it the will to power. It is the life force that seeks its own expression, its own unique form. The should self is the cage that confines this will. Your task is to break the cage. The death of the should self is the first and most critical step on the path to sovereignty. It is the moment you stop being a character in someone else's story and become the author of your own. It is the moment you trade the comfortable lies of the herd for the difficult, glorious truth of your own existence. This is just the beginning. In the next chapter, we will explore what emerges from the ashes of the should self. We will confront the shadowy aspects of your personality that have been repressed and denied, and we will learn how to integrate them into a stronger, more complete whole. But for now, your work is clear. Begin the audit. Hunt the shoulds. Expose the phantom. Have the courage to let the false self die so that your true self can finally begin to live. The death of the should self was the necessary demolition. It cleared the ground, shattered the false idol you thought you were. But now you stand amidst the rubble, and a dangerous question arises. If that was not me, then who am I? The answer does not lie in building another fragile identity atop the ruins. The answer lies in descending into the cellar of your own psyche, into the dark, forgotten chambers where you have locked away everything the should self deemed unacceptable, evil, or dangerous. This is your shadow, the repository of your repressed instincts, your denied emotions, your forbidden desires. And it is here, in this darkness, that you will find the raw materials for your true, authentic self. Nietzsche understood this profoundly. He knew that what we call evil is often just strength and vitality that society could not tolerate. He saw that the church, the state, the herd morality had forced humanity to repress its most powerful instincts, turning them inward where they festered, as guilt, self-hatred, and resentment. The path to becoming who you are requires not the avoidance of this shadow, but its conscious integration. This is the alchemical process of turning lead into gold, of transforming your repressed weaknesses into conscious strengths. This is the shadow integration protocol. The first step is shadow recognition. You must learn to see the shadow in action. It does not announce itself directly. It operates through projection, through triggers, through irrational reactions. When you feel an intense, immediate dislike for someone you have just met, ask yourself, what quality in them is triggering me? Am I seeing in them something I have denied in myself? The arrogant man triggers you because you have repressed your own need for recognition and sovereignty. The promiscuous woman triggers you because you have repressed your own raw sexual energy. The lazy person triggers you because you have repressed your own desire to rest and reject productivity. The shadow also appears in your impulsive behaviors and the things you do without understanding why, the sudden outbursts of anger, the patterns of self-sabotage, the addictions, the secret fantasies. These are not random. They are the shadow knocking on the door of your consciousness, demanding to be acknowledged. The second step is shadow ownership. This is the most difficult part. It requires brutal honesty and the complete suspension of judgment. You must confess to yourself the things you have been ashamed to admit. I am capable of rage. I have destructive impulses. I feel envy. I desire power. I can be manipulative. I enjoy dominance. I have cruel thoughts. I am selfish. You must write these down. You must speak them aloud. You must look at them directly without flinching. This is not about condemning yourself. It is about reclaiming your wholeness. The should self wanted you to believe you were only light, the saint, the good person. But you are not only light, you are also darkness, and that darkness contains immense power. The third step is shadow dialogue. You must stop treating the shadow as an enemy to be defeated and begin treating it as a neglected part of yourself that needs to be understood. Find a quiet space, close your eyes, and consciously invite the shadow to speak. Ask it, what do you want? What have you been trying to tell me through my anger, my addictions, my fears? What purpose do you serve? Listen without judgment. You may feel foolish at first, but persist. The shadow speaks in images, in emotions, in gut feelings. You may discover that your rage is a boundary that was never allowed. Your addiction is a search for a state you cannot access. Your fear is a protector keeping you from perceived danger. The shadow is not evil. It is a distorted form of intelligence. It is energy that has been twisted by repression. The fourth step is shadow translation. This is where the alchemy happens. You take the raw, chaotic energy of the shadow and you find a conscious, constructive channel for its expression. Your repressed rage can be translated into the ability to set fierce boundaries and defend your territory. Your repressed selfishness can be translated into healthy self-interest and the prioritization of your mission. Your repressed desire for dominance can be translated into leadership and the will to take responsibility for your world. Your repressed laziness can be translated into the wisdom to rest and the rejection of meaningless productivity. Your repressed envy can be translated into a clear signal of what you truly value and desire. This is not acting out the shadow. This is integrating its power into your conscious personality. You are not becoming a monster. You are becoming a complete human being who has access to the full spectrum of their potential. The final step is shadow embodiment. This is where you bring the integrated shadow into your daily life. You practice expressing your new strength in small ways. Then in larger ones, you learn to say no without guilt. You learn to ask for what you want without apology. You learn to take up space without shrinking. You allow your anger to be felt without letting it control you. You allow your ambition to be seen without shame. This embodiment will feel unnatural. At first, the should self will protest. It will warn you that you are being arrogant, selfish, unlikable. This is the price of sovereignty. You must be willing to be misunderstood, to be disliked, to temporarily disrupt the comfortable patterns of your relationships in order to establish new ones based on authenticity rather than compliance. The shadow is not your enemy. It is your suppressed power, your lost vitality, your disowned genius. To reject it is to reject half of yourself. To integrate it is to become whole, to become dangerous, to become real. This is the path Nietzsche pointed to, the path beyond good and evil, where you stop judging your instincts as moral or immoral and start assessing them as life-affirming or life-denying. The shadow integration protocol is how you reclaim your full human. It is how you stop being a partial person, a people pleaser, a nice guy, a follower, and become a sovereign individual with access to all of your resources. This is the foundation for the next stage of your transformation, the creation of your own values from this place of wholeness and power. But first, you must do the work. You must descend into the darkness and bring back the gold that awaits you there. Now the ground is clear. The rubble of the should self has been carted away, and you have descended into the shadows, not as a conqueror, but as a miner, extracting the raw ores of your suppressed power. You stand at the threshold of the most creative act a human can undertake. You are no longer a tenant in a house built by others. You are the architect about to design your own dwelling from the foundation to the spire. This is the birth of the values architect, the conscious creator of your own moral universe, the sovereign who does not discover values but decrees them. Nietzsche proclaimed, "God is dead, and we have killed him." This was not a cry of despair, but a declaration of ultimate responsibility. The death of the external lawgiver means there is no higher authority to give your life meaning. No divine command to tell you what is good, no societal norm to dictate your purpose. The abyss that opens up is not empty, it is full of potential. It is the silent space where your own voice can finally be heard, where you can speak your own word, where you can will your own will. This is the terrifying freedom of the architect. You are holding the blank blueprint of your existence, and the pen is in your hand. The first principle of values. Architecture is that all values are created, not discovered. They are not eternal truths, waiting in some spiritual realm to be found. They are human inventions, tools for living judgments about what enhances life and what diminishes it. The herd operates on inherited values, the values of the should self. They are hand-me-down clothes that never quite fit. They are the maps of dead men for territories that no longer exist. The sovereign architect rejects these ready-made values and engages in the ultimate act of intellectual rebellion. The creation of a personal value system tailored specifically for the life you intend to live. This begins with what I call the values forge. It is a deliberate, conscious process of crafting your core principles. You must enter this forge with two things: the self-knowledge gained from shadow integration and a clear-eyed assessment of your own will to power your fundamental drive to grow, overcome, and expand. Your values must be an expression of this drive, not a suppression of it. The process is systematic. First, you define your central purpose. This is not a goal or a target. It is the overarching theme of your life, the North Star by which all other values will be navigated. Ask yourself, if my life were a work of art, what would its central message be if I were the hero of my own story? What is the quest that defines me? Your purpose might be the pursuit of truth, the creation of beauty, the accumulation of power, the cultivation of wisdom, the expansion of freedom. It must be something that ignites your soul, that makes the struggle meaningful. This purpose becomes the foundation stone of your value system. Next, you draft your core virtues. These are the character traits you will cultivate to serve your purpose. These are not the sterile virtues of the herd: humility, obedience, piety. They are the life-affirming virtues of the sovereign: courage, honesty, discipline, resilience, curiosity, magnanimity, self-respect. Choose 5 to 7 virtues that resonate with your deepest self, that feel like strengths you want to amplify. For example, if your purpose is the pursuit of truth, your core virtues might be intellectual courage, relentless curiosity, and uncompromising honesty. If your purpose is the creation of beauty, your virtues might be discipline, sensitivity to excellence, and the patience of a craftsman. These virtues become the pillars of your character. Then you establish your ethical code. This is the practical application of your virtues, the do's and don'ts of your daily life. This is where abstract philosophy meets concrete action. Your ethical code answers questions like, how do I treat others? How do I handle conflict? How do I use my resources? What are my non-negotiable boundaries? For example, your code might include: I speak truth even when it is uncomfortable. I honor my agreements without exception. I protect my time and energy fiercely. I never sacrifice my long-term growth for short-term comfort. I help others to become stronger, not to remain weak. This code is your personal constitution, the law of your own being. It is not imposed from outside, it is authored from within. Finally, you create your hierarchy of values. Life will present you with conflicts, and you must know what takes precedence. If honesty and loyalty conflict, which one prevails? If freedom and security clash, which do you choose? Your value hierarchy is your decision-making matrix. In moments of uncertainty, for one man, the hierarchy might be truth, freedom, courage, creativity. For another, it might be strength, family, honor, growth, legacy. There is no right answer, there is only your answer. This entire structure, your purpose, your virtues, your ethical code, your hierarchy must be written down. This is not a mental exercise. The act of writing is an act of creation. It makes the abstract concrete. It makes the internal external. Keep a values manifesto, a physical or digital document that you can revisit and revise. This document is the blueprint of your soul. The next step is values embodiment. A value that exists only on paper is worthless. It must be lived, breathed, and enacted into reality. This requires what I call values integrity, the ruthless alignment of your actions with your stated principles. Every day and every decision you must ask, does this action reflect who I am becoming? Does this choice honor my purpose? Does this behavior embody my virtues? This is the daily practice of the architect. It is the laying of one brick after another, the consistent application of effort that slowly builds the cathedral of your character. This integrity will be tested constantly. The world will try to seduce you back into the herd, to compromise for approval, for comfort, for safety. You will be tempted to tell a white lie, to skip a discipline, to break a promise. See to yourself. This is where you forge your strength in the fire of resistance. Every time you choose your values over your conditioning, you strengthen your sovereign self. You become more real. The final aspect is values evolution. Your value system is not a rigid dogma carved in stone. It is a living, growing entity. As you grow and overcome, your values will refine and sometimes transform what served you. At one stage may become a limitation at another. The architect must be willing to renovate, to tear down walls that no longer serve the design, to add new wings as his vision expands. Regularly, perhaps quarterly, conduct a values audit. Revisit your manifesto and ask, are these values still true for me? Do they still empower my growth? Have I discovered a higher value? This is not inconsistency. It is the evolution of consciousness. This is the practice of the values architect. It is the highest form of self-ownership. It is how you move from being a product of your culture to being a creator of your culture. It is how you build a life that is not a replica, but an original masterpiece. This is the path to becoming who you are not, by discovering a fixed essence, but by consciously, creatively, and courageously building the self you choose to be. You are the architect, the lawgiver, the artist of your own soul. Now pick up your tools and build. The architecture is complete. You have blueprints of unprecedented clarity. You know your purpose, your virtues, your code, your hierarchy. You have gazed into the shadow and reclaimed your power. But a blueprint without a builder is a fantasy. A constitution without citizens is mere words. The distance between the man you are and the sovereign you are becoming is bridged not by grand declarations, but by the relentless consistency of daily practice. This is where self-creation moves from philosophy to physiology, where thought becomes action, where the abstract becomes embodied. This chapter is your general contractor, your foreman, your daily discipline. It is the systematic protocol for building the cathedral of your character, one deliberate brick at a time. The foundation of this practice is what I call the morning sovereignty declaration. The first 15 minutes of your waking day are the most psychologically malleable. They set the trajectory for everything that follows. Most men surrender this territory immediately. They check their phones. They absorb the news. They are reactive from the very first breath. You will be different. You will be proactive. You will seize the narrative before the world has a chance to write it for you the moment you wake. Before you check the time, before you reach for your phone, you will perform a 5-minute ritual, sit on the edge of your bed or stand facing the window. Close your eyes, take 3 deep breaths, and then you will declare your intent for the day, not as a wish, but as a command. You will speak aloud or with fierce internal focus. Today, I am the architect of my reality. I will embody the virtue of discipline. I will advance my purpose of truth. I will reject the whispers of the herd. This is not affirmation, this is activation. You are programming your subconscious. You are setting the default settings of your mind for the next 16 hours. You are putting on the armor of your sovereign self before stepping onto the battlefield of the day. This morning ritual is non-negotiable. It is the cornerstone of your daily construction. The next practice is the hourly sovereignty. Check in the day is long and focus is fragile. The gravitational pull of old habits is immense to maintain alignment. You must create constant feedback loops. Set a silent timer on your watch or phone to vibrate once every hour. When it does, you will pause for no more than 15 seconds and ask the triage question, am I building or am I complying? Is what I am doing right now an active expression of my values or a passive reaction to external demands? This micro check-in is a course correction. It is the builder checking his level, ensuring each brick is laid straight. It prevents the slow drift back into autopilot. It keeps you the conscious creator in the driver's seat throughout the day. You will encounter what I call sovereignty moments. These are seemingly insignificant decisions that are actually tests of character. The dessert menu appears. The easy lie presents itself. The opportunity to procrastinate whispers, the chance to criticize instead of create. These are the moments where the self is forged, not in the grand dramatic battles, but in these quiet skirmishes. In these moments, you must have preloaded responses. If it does not align with my health, I do not eat it. If it requires a lie, the truth will serve me better. If it is not a hell, yes, it is a no. These are your sovereign mantras, your built-in ethical reflexes. They allow you to bypass deliberation and act in immediate alignment with your blueprint. The most critical practice is the evening sovereignty audit. The day is done. The work is complete. This is not the time to collapse into distraction or numb yourself with entertainment. This is the time for the most powerful ritual of all, the construction review. Take your journal, You will write 3 things and 3 things only. First, the cornerstone. What was the one action I took today that most strongly embodied my sovereign self? Where did I feel most aligned with my purpose and virtues? Second, the crack. What was the one moment where I faltered? Where did I act from the old should self? Where did compliance override creation? Third, the correction based on this. What is one specific adjustment I will make tomorrow to build better? This audit does 2 things. It solidifies the learning, cementing the neural pathways of your new behavior, and it allows you to close the book on the day you have processed it, you have extracted its wisdom. You can now rest with a clear mind, allowing your subconscious to integrate the lessons. This practice guarantees that you do not just have days, you have progress. You are not passing through time. You are actively sculpting yourself with it. Intertwined with these mental rituals are the physical disciplines. The body is not separate from the mind. It is the instrument through which your sovereign will is expressed. Your physical container must be capable of housing your expanding consciousness. This means disciplined sleep not as a luxury, but as non-negotiable recovery. It means intentional nutrition, not as a diet, but as fueling the machine. It means challenging physical training, not for vanity, but for the cultivation of resilience and willpower. The body trained to endure discomfort becomes a powerful ally for the mind that must do the same. Finally, there is the practice of strategic withdrawal. You must build pockets of silence into your week time, completely free from input, from consumption, from the demands of others. This is not downtime. This is the space where true creation occurs, where your own thoughts can emerge from the noise, where you can hear the quiet voice of your own intuition. This is where you reconnect with your purpose and refine your blueprint. This daily protocol is the engine of transformation. It is simple. It is not easy. It requires a relentless commitment to showing up even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. But this is the work. This is the price of Sov. Iranti. This is how you move from being a reader of philosophy to a living embodiment of it. You are not just thinking about becoming who you are actively, physically, mentally building it every single day. This consistent daily practice is what separates the dreamer from the sovereign, the philosopher from the king. You are building a self that cannot be broken by circumstance, because it is being forged in the fire of your own disciplined choice day after day after day. The blueprint is drafted. The daily rituals are ingrained. The tools of self-creation are firmly in your hands. Now comes the ultimate test, the transition from the controlled environment of your practice to the chaotic theater of the real world. This is where philosophy meets friction, where your sovereign self must learn to walk, talk, and command amidst the resistance of a world that was designed for the compliant. This chapter is about the final forging, the tempering of your new character in the fires of reality. It is about becoming unfuckwithable, the sovereign self in action. The first law of sovereignty in action is that power must be tested. You have built this new self in the quiet spaces of your life, but its true strength will only be revealed under pressure. You must therefore deliberately seek out tests, not recklessly but strategically. You must place yourself in situations that require you to use your new virtues, to enforce your new boundaries, to live your new code. This means having that difficult conversation you have been avoiding. It means pitching the ambitious project that stretches your capabilities. It means defending your time and focus against all encroachments. It means risking disapproval for the sake of your truth. Each of these actions is a rep in the gym of your character. Each one makes you stronger, more resilient, more real. The second law is that resistance is feedback. The world will push back against your transformation. Your family will complain that you have changed, your friends may feel threatened, your colleagues may resent your new boundaries. This resistance is not a sign that you are on the wrong path. It is the clearest possible sign that you are on the right one. The herd has an immune system, and it identifies and attacks any foreign body that refuses to conform. Do not see this pushback as a failure. See it as validation. Your sovereignty is making others uncomfortable because it holds up a mirror to their own compliance. Your strength exposes thee. Air weakness. Your freedom highlights their chains. This discomfort is their problem, not yours. Your task is to hold the line with calm, unwavering resolve. The third law is that sovereignty is magnetic as you solidify in your new form. A subtle but powerful shift will occur, while the weak and the manipulative will be repelled by your refusal to play their games. A new caliber of person will be drawn to you. You will begin to attract allies, fellow travelers, other sovereign individuals who respect your boundaries and are interested in mutual growth. Not emotional parasitism, your relationships will transform from networks of dependency to alliances of empowerment. You will find yourself surrounded by people who challenge you, who inspire you, who demand your best self. This is the true reward of the path, not just internal peace, but a tribe of the strong. The fourth law is that the sovereign self is a perpetual state of becoming. There is no final destination, no point at which you arrive and the work is done. The moment you believe you have finished, you have begun to die. The sovereign self understands that the self is not a noun, but a verb, not a statue, but a river. It is a continuous process of overcoming, of creating, refining your values, will evolve, your purpose will deepen, your virtues will be tested and strengthened. This is the essence of Nietzsche's concept of the will to power the eternal driving force of life, to grow, to expand, to become more than it was. Embrace this. You are not building a fortress to hide in. You are sharpening a blade to engage with the world more effectively. The final law is that sovereignty is its own reward. You began this journey perhaps seeking external validation, success, power, or freedom from pain. While these may come, they are fleeting and unreliable. The true reward, the only reward that cannot be taken from you, is the profound internal state of sovereignty itself. The unshakable knowledge that you are the author of your life, the master of your fate, the creator of your values. This is the peace that surpasses understanding, the power that needs no external confirmation. It is the calm at the center of the storm, the silent confidence that comes from knowing that no matter what happens, you have the tools to handle it, you have the character to endure it, and the will to grow from it. This is what it means to become who you are. It is not a static identity, but a dynamic process. It is the courage to be constantly outgrowing your former self, the discipline to impose order on your chaos, the creativity to turn your suffering into strength, and the love for your own fate that transforms every obstacle into fuel. You are now the sovereign, the architect, the creator, the lawgiver of your own soul. The path is open. The tools are in your hands. The world is waiting for the unique impact that only you can make. Go forth and build.